Weston decking Laszlo there as that jam comes to an end. No score on the play, and Weston decks Tucker over there, too. Leaving Bombers in the deck. Laszlo going after Weston. Throws her helmet down. Wow, Weston's helmet and a kick, and here we go. The brunette and the blonde in there. Laszlo, the Bombers. Weston, knee in there by Weston. Boy, I tell you, you tangle this gal, you know it. Joni Weston, big and powerful, the golden girl of the Pioneers. This is skating action coming your way, featuring the Bombers and the Pioneers. From Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in the city of San Francisco. And the score is the Bombers 24, Pioneers 20.
Well, I think everybody has figured pretty well, Walt. The Bombers represent Northern California. They skate a lot of games around this area. And the Pioneers, the entire Midwest, Chicago, Indianapolis, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Memphis. Great home schedule there. And we know we got a lot of great fans for the Pioneers back there. They've got the big series coming up late September against the Los Angeles Thunderbirds for the National Skating Derby League. We'll be telling the fans about that in a while and where those games are going to be.
Don't forget Phoenix and Tucson.
Where are they?
Here we go. Big handy on the jam. Up here. Slamming. Pioneer skater into the rail. I can't see who it is from my vantage point. It was Weston shooting the penalty box. Jam was cut off. Laszlo drew a penalty. Boy, Laszlo with a vengeance that time. Candy Jones it was. Laszlo slammed her into the rail. Weston was in the penalty box. That's put Laszlo in there now for the Bombers. 24-20 is the score. The Bombers lead. 4:32 to go in this period. First period in the last half. Fifth period in the game. Don't forget, we'll have an interview at the end of the game.
I understand you're going to be talking to Joan Weston. That should be interesting.
Yes. Got not on the Bomber roster out there.
Pioneer fans were very fortunate, though, Walt, because in their area they had a very good interview at the end of that first half.
Here we go. Debbie Joe for the Bombers. Candy Jones for the Pioneers. Candy Jones has really come along. But too quick. Debbie Joe, another fast skater, moving with the Bombers all by herself now. Joni Weston back to the block, going to block her helmet on. Just came on the track out of the penalty box. Candy Jones goes by, or did not go by, blocked out Debbie Cho. Debbie Cho 32, blocked again by Candy Jones. This Jones looks like she's going to draw blood out there. She looks mean on this play. These haven't been going too well for her the last couple plays, and she's slamming blocks into Debbie Cho, who now is up on the rail. Time running out. Candy Jones goes, come on, get up here. I want to hit you again. And she does. She does with the knee in the... She almost knocked Debbie Cho around on the outside for points. Almost in. Now she's been passed for a point. Penalty also. Point to the Bombers. She hit Debbie Cho's a hard one. She almost shoved her around the pack for more points. They've got Candy Jones there now. Tucker has slamming her in the rail. Here comes Weston with her helmet. Laszlo trying to get at Weston. This Weston with a leg backwards kicks Laszlo down and continues to hammer away at Tucker. Boom! This Weston is too big and too tough. I have to say this, Jerry. She reminds me of Charlie O'Connell when he's mad. When he gets mad, he's just too tough to handle. And Weston the same way.
Of course, they both skated on the same team for many seasons, and it's very logical they would skate alike. I know many of our fans want to know how can they hear about the upcoming games in their area. Put your name on the Bomber or Pioneer mailing list and receive special advance scheduling information on games in your area. Send your name to mailing list, either Bomber or Pioneer mailing list, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California, 94604.
Score is 26-20 now. Weston to the penalty box. Candy Jones to the penalty box. Bombers lose Tucker. So it's 4 against 3 out there right now. Rules statement: not suffer a penalized skater. You skate short-handed down to a minimum of 3. 3 skaters drop penalties. 1 stays out there until someone comes out of the penalty box. Here we go on the jam. Rita Williams is out. Kathy Pulliam working on her for the Bombers. block on Williams, and down she goes. Away goes Pulliam. Bombers control the jam right now. Bombers have 2 jammers out. Now Koshu breaks away for the Pioneers. Back to the block is Sherry Eric. That gal's come a long way since I last saw her in action. Laszlo back to the block. Laszlo blocking out Koshu. Sherry Eric slammed, but she doesn't have. She's passed for a point. And now also Koshu is scoring. Could be a point apiece. Maybe 2 for the Bombers, 1 for the Pioneers. Let's see. That's it. 2 for the Bombers, 1 for the Pioneers. That's 21 points for the Pioneers. 28 for the Bombers. If I put it up on the scoreboard. We have 35 seconds to go left to go here in the 5th period of play. Over there, Debbie Cho, right in the Pioneer territory. She's going to be covered. Tucker goes in to help her. Andy Jones on her face on the track. Debbie Cho went in there after somebody in that Pioneer club, and she was double teamed. Tucker came to help her. Boy, oh boy, these gals, it's not safe, Jerry.
Well, Walt, Debbie Cho, oh, look out, just came off of an injury. She has a broken nose. She's not supposed to be out there without her helmet, and a chance of serious damage could occur.
Well, that's the end of the 5th period of play with the score. The Bay Area Bombers 28 and the Pioneers 21. Godzilla.
Who's he skating for, Walt?
I don't know who he's skating. I think he skates for the Red Devils. This is coming your way from Keys Off Road to Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Alvin Mallory out on the jam. Chasing him, the Bald Eagle, Bob Hine, 57. I'll tell you one thing about Bob Hine. He has had some tremendous injuries to overcome. And yet he's back here again doing his best with his mighty great until he got hit with 2 men there. James Ball, 32. Alvin Mallory, 31. Bob Hine wants the block back there. And nobody can do it any better. Bob Hine, number 57, the Bald Eagle. Salem, Oregon Flash. Paul and Mallory, they tried to move him on both sides. It didn't work. Bob Hine covering the track out there. And he's doing it out there. Charlie O'Connell not in the game at the present time. Pete Boyd's got him. Hines got them both. That might not be legal. Not. I wonder if there's a point to each man. Penalty, 1 point, or penalty, point to each man. That's right. It's very seldom you see one man commit a penalty on 2 men. And 2 points awarded. And Pete Boyd goes over there and has a few words to say to Hine, who's sitting there with his hands up in the penalty box. Pete Boyd standing in front of him, and the referee gets there.
You know, you wonder what goes through his head. It seemed to me he was blocking him very effectively, Walt. His team is trailing by 7, and now he has 2 more points in the deficit.
30-21 is now the score. What looked like O'Connell goes down there to talk to him. Bob Hine gets up. Look out. Nick Scopus in there. And there's a brave man in a striped jersey getting in there. Our director, Phil Bender, right there, bringing all the coverage. Cameramen tonight are Ed Endo, Ernie Fields, and Larry Landis. Directed by Hal Wilson. Don Jackson, supervisor in charge. Our directors are Eduardo Ramirez, Ron Louie. Tony Roman is on the jam, and chasing him is the hard-working John Rice. Look out, Roman, right into the rail, slammed there by John Rice. John Rice all by himself on the jam now. He's got Ronnie Robinson, the block for him back there. Pete Boyd, Tony Roman. Roman getting it from Robinson. It's going to be passed for a point. Now Boyd gets it from Robinson. Cook gets it. Roscoe blocking in there. Into the move, man, right into his own player's bench went Rice. The penalty, I think, on somebody for shoving him in there. Let's see how many points. Could be 4, could be 5, depending on the penalty. 3, I think, and a 4th and a penalty for 4 points for the Pioneers. O'Connell wants to know why. That makes it 30-25 now as they pick up 4 big points in there. John Rice doing the job along with some tremendous blocking by Ronnie Robinson.
Gil Orozco was called for the penalty, and it's pretty rare that he is. And Gil and all the other Bombers are going to be in Phoenix and Tucson when the San Francisco Bay Bombers meet the New York Chiefs. Phoenix on Friday night, August 31st at the Arizona Coliseum. Tucson, Saturday night, September 1st at the Tucson Community Center. Needless to say, Walt, both buildings are air-conditioned.
Heated down there.
I was down there one time, Walt, it was 118 degrees.
Why didn't you come in out of the sun?
Well, I was riding horses.
Here we go. Bob Hine left on the rail along with Nick Skopas, and it's James Paul and Alvin Mallory who are making quite a combination of jamming for the Bombers. They worked well together as a team. James Paul, 32, coming years old this year. Alvin Mallory, already a top man. Bob Hine back there again. See if he controls his temper this time. Bob Hine blocking on O'Connell skating around the infield, telling them jammers what he wants them to do. O'Connell covering a lot of track. He's not in the game. He's skating around the infield, yelling at the jammers, telling them what to do. Hine's got him again. They pick him up. Hine yelling at the referee. He wants a penalty call. They don't know whether it's a penalty or not. They quit jamming. They didn't know what was being called. Bob Hine doesn't like whatever happened. It's 2 Bomber points. He was holding them. They just put their arms under him with blocks and picked them up and threw them. Had he used their hands, they could have thrown them over the... Oh, there goes the penalty box. Bob Hine is burning up now. 2 Bomber points, 32-25, and Hine screaming now. Gene McMoyer over here on the left. Nose to nose they are down there. Nose to nose, chest to chest, and McMoyer has a bigger chest. All the way up.
All the way down. Slipped a little, as they say, but Gene's a good referee.
He refereed professional basketball games for many years. He's handled the big ones and the small ones.
He trains by using whips, Walt. Ask him about that sometime.
Hine, no penalty was called in that play. Both guns are full strength. And boy, this pack is really battling out there. Robinson and O'Connell at the head of the pack are going at it. In the pack, the jam, there they are. There they are. O'Connell to the hammers one in the Robinson. There goes his helmet. There's not his head. Robinson moving on O'Connell at the rear of the pack. He's got a jammer back there, Larry Smith. O'Connell hit again. Smith is going to get by him for a point. O'Connell hits Robinson. But Dansell goes by Robinson for a point. Dansell decked by Smith. Robinson hit. O'Connell goes down. He can't be passed. No, that was O'Connell. It is another point. Another Bomber. 2 more points. Could be 3 in there for the Pioneers. Smith puts Roman back on the track. Sure. 1 point Bomber. There's Smith decked up here in advance. I didn't see him. Did he get decked by Cook?
Little Tony Roman there was right on camera. Just jumped back, floored Bob Hine, and just as cool as you please, looking like he was doing nothing. The referees didn't get him for anything. The fans all saw it, though.
33-28 is now the score. The Bombers lead by 5 with 5 minutes to go here in the 6th period of play.
If you would like to have a game scheduled in your area and you have a gym at a high school or college or an arena that seats more than 2,500 people, write the bookings, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604. We'll tell you how you can have the Pioneers, the Bombers, or another fine team skating in your city, probably for the benefit of your organization.
The Bombers successfully in this period have been getting 2 men out to one for the Pioneers, but Nick Scopers is the old equalizer out there. He was out against 2-on-1, and he just outskated both Mallory and James Paul. He didn't even have to hit him. He just outmaneuvered him on the track. The veteran Nick Scopus out there. Moving for the Pioneers. Mallory back there. He'll have to block. Here comes Nick Scopus in the scoring position. This club trailing by 5 points. He outmaneuvered him. He outfeinted Mallory. He goes by him for a point. Made a maneuver. Mallory tried to stay with him, and he gets Paul again. He has scored 2 points, and he has really made suckers out of Mallory and James Paul in this game. O'Connell's back there, and he cuts it off. Paul jumps into the hip lock. Paul should be called for a penalty there. If anybody was looking. Goes over and wraps James Paul. He'll equalize things for his teammate. Those 4 points. Means the Bombers only lead by 3 now, but they led by 9 a while ago. 33-30. Almost looks, Jerry, like the Pioneers are starting to take charge.
Well, they, when the game became very rough in the fourth period of the first half, there's Nick Scopus there. The Pioneers' attack seemed to fall apart. And, really, just starting this period, they reorganized. Now, when they've got time enough left, there's 2 periods to go. They trail by 3.
Tony Roman decked Larry Smith. He's way behind the pack. Bob Dansell out on the jam. James Paul in the penalty box for the Bombers. Dansell caught by John Rice and hammered to the track. The only jammer out now. Bombers are down. Smith puts Dansell down again. Here comes John Rice, the man on the jam. Dansell is up again. Pete Boyd in trouble. The Pioneers are racking them men up here. There's a double block set up by Tony Roman and Dansell. Watch the man that can score. 59, John Rice. And Robinson goes back there and paves the way for him to pick up 2 points. He runs into Pete Boyd, does John Rice. Here comes Tony Roman with the block. Roman decks him. That should kill the threat. Time will run out of Rice. He's hit by Roman again. 10 seconds, they say. I thought it was almost over. John Rice has already scored 2. He can't go by Roman again for another point. He'd have to circle back to catch it again. That killed the threat. Time ran out. Should be 2 points for the Pioneers. That's what the officials say. The score is 33-32. How about those dates in the East, Jerry? Did you give them the dates on that tremendous series coming up in the Midwest, that is, the Pioneers and the Thunderbirds?
Pioneers are meeting the Los Angeles Thunderbirds in that huge interleague game that drew 50,000 White Sox players last season. Almost 14,000 in St. Louis, 10,000 in Milwaukee. The first game is Sunday, September 23rd, Milwaukee Arena at 7 p.m. Then Wednesday, September 26th, Gary, Indiana, Calumet High School. Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, September 27th, 28th, and 30th at the Amphitheater in Chicago. Don't miss any games there. Just 3 games in Chicago. And Saturday, September 29th, the Arena in St. Louis, home of the Blues. Get tickets for any of these games right away. Don't miss this huge series.
Tony Roman with Bob Hine, and here comes Ronnie Robinson. Roman in trouble. And it's a big double-barrel threat going for the Pioneers now. Bob Hine, 57, Ronnie Robinson, 58. O'Connell being clobbered at the rear of the pack by Scopus. O'Connell has to worry about the jammers, not Scopus right now. He hits Hine. He hits Robinson. He hits down in front goes Scopus, and O'Connell, fantastic skating. He hurdled, Scopus stayed on his skates, and he's still doing the blocking job, showing you why he's one of the all-time greats. Scopus can't hit him again. He's not there, Scopus. Robinson, I know he's there. Scopus again. Carlio. Fantastic skating. Scopus has not cut off the jam. There could be a point in there for the Bombers, unless time ran out. I mean, Hine or Robinson had not cut off the jam. Let's see if the time has run out. Robinson, Scopus, Hine after O'Connell. They take him down. Pete Boyd moving in there. Trying to get a piece of Robinson. Scopus being chased by Roman. Here comes John Rice after Roman. O'Connell still down. The trainer with him. Pete Boyd is down. The Bombers taking a physical battering here. That is the end of the 6th period of play with the score. The Bombers 33 and the Pioneers 34. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here. He's our pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. We're moving now into the 7th period of play, and the Pioneers are forged back in front, 34-33. Here we go. The girls are on the track. If there's not 5 out there from each team, that means the penalties drawn by the men are being used up now. There are 3 Pioneers out there, and there are 4 Bombers out there, but the Pioneers control the jam, even though they lack 1 member. 1 more, I should say, than the Bombers. On the jam, Sherry Eric, 53. Debbie Cho back to the block for the Bombers. Debbie Cho blocking. Sherry Eric looking for skating room. Candy Jones trying to drop back and give her some help. Laszlo moving on the jam, but she's over half a lap back. Debbie Cho keeping up with the fast move. Jerry Eric runs into Candy Jones. She's passed for a point. Jam cut off. You're watching the jammer, and you don't see the blocker in front of you. Take split vision out there. So that's another point for the Pioneers. They lead 35-33.
On that last jam, Walt, Debbie shows she has great moves, but she needs the experience, and that's what the Bomber girls are doing. Later on this period, we get so many requests about how can people get into this game, where are the training centers. We're going to tell them where the training centers are located. We have one woman in Chicago, Walt, who's training to be a referee.
That's right. I want to see a regular fight between Weston and Laszlo.
Or perhaps Robinson and O'Connell.
Oh, you can't argue with a woman referee despite equal rights. Here we go. Dolores Tucker all by herself now on the jam of the Bombers. Both clubs at full strength. Joni Weston back there blocked. And the Bombers have a wall across the track, slowing the pack down so the jammer can get in scoring position that much sooner. But at the same time, that works to your disadvantage when your jammer gets up there, because then there's nobody back there to help her block, or to help block for her. And right now she's finding that kind of trouble. Joni Weston doing the job. Nobody back there to help Tucker out. Now Laszlo gets back there. Weston shoves Laszlo ahead. Laszlo can't get a clear shot at Weston. Tucker into the rail. Laszlo clobbered again by Joni Weston, the Golden Girl doing the job back there. Oh, collision out there. Leaves two Bombers draped on the rail. Weston pats Laszlo in the back, and that doesn't set well with somebody you just clobbered. 35-33, the score remains. 9 minutes to go here in this period, the 7th period of play. Remember, an interview at the end of the half.
You really have the feeling, Walt, that things are going to explode here any minute, especially between Weston and Laszlo.
Well, Weston for many years was the #1 gal on this Bomber team. Then she got the great offer to join the Pioneer Club, getting out of the Midwest, the University of Chicago, and other fine arenas back there. And Laszlo signed a contract with the Bombers, became the big gal on the Bomber team, and so there's got to be rivalry there. And there it was, Laszlo clobbered Weston. Here we go on the jam. Jerry Eric out again on the jam. Debbie Cho out 32. Althea Gandy 37, and Candy Jones. Jones over her teammate, but goes down. Debbie Cho doing the job, put both Pioneer jammers back in the pack. Candy Jones is decked again as she got up. You know, sometimes when you're out on a jam, you get decked. And you start to get up, the pack catches up with you, and a skater on another team will clobber you every time, and you get bounced around. Bombers in scoring position. There are no Pioneers in scoring position. The Pioneers lead by 2. Debbie Cho back there with a face mask to protect a broken nose. Gandy 37. Candy Jones 57. Jerry Eric 53 block. I don't know what that is there, but it worked. That had to be the sloppiest play that has worked for points that I've seen in a long time, Jerry.
I guess the Pioneers feel that way, too.
They're taking it out on Debbie Cho. No, on Gandy. Laszlo comes over here and clobbers Candy Jones, and Weston goes after Laszlo, and here we go. The two big gals going at it, Laszlo and Weston. Crowd up and roaring here at Kezar in San Francisco. And again, Jones is decked by Laszlo. She goes fire. Once you draw a penalty, I guess you figure you might as well do as much damage as possible before you head to the penalty box, where Marja Laszlo is going right now. That tied up the score 35-35 as the Bombers picked up 2 points in an amazing play.
Yes, Walt.
How about the training centers, Jerry?
Well, there are 2 located throughout the United States. No matter where you're watching, if you'd like information, call either of these phone numbers. Of course, we have the zip code there. The one in Chicago, the Pioneer Training Center, operated by Lou Donovan, open every day on Saturdays and Sundays. Call that number. It's at the International Amphitheater. I understand he has about 600 trainees enrolled. The Bomber Training Center, Alameda, California, 631 Buena Vista Avenue. There's the phone number. You can call that right now. Buddy Atkinson Sr. is in charge there, and I understand Buddy is looking for women skaters for the Bombers. He said any woman who comes on Monday nights gets in free. You got to bring their own skates, so Buddy won't let them use theirs.
Here we go. hard there as he's blocking on Rita Williams, trying to score for the Pine. Oh, an elbow right in the face, it looked like. Tucker decks her with the next one. Goshu moving up the challenge now. Tucker meets her with a hard block. Another block in there by Tucker. Francine Goshu out of Quebec, Canada. She slams into Weston. Weston goes into Williams. Weston still blocking. The play had ended. Here comes Laszlo. He didn't like the idea of Weston blocking after that play ended, but it was a close one. Whatever tells Laszlo to keep calm. So, 35-35, the score remains. You talk about women skaters, there's always a great opening for women skaters. There have been some good ones come to the lake the last few years. You could be the next one. Unfortunately, Jerry, I found a fella the other day who wants to be a skater. I'm going to send him to the training club, a 160-pound amateur wrestler with muscles all over him. About 18 years of age, a couple years he could be a star. Well,
I think you came across with an interesting point. Most of our skaters have done some skating before, at least on the sidewalk, but a lot of them never have skated before. It's not required. If you just have any kind of athletic ability, go to one of the league training centers.
Yeah, that's always amazed me. That people that want to become skaters that have never skated, gone to training school, and have come out of there as skaters, and good ones. Laszlo and Weston, here we go. Marge Laszlo, 38, Joni Weston, 59. Tallest gals in the league, battling it out, and not for long. Weston, I tell you, this gal is too much out there. You can see why she is an all-time great. I can remember several seasons back, she broke the leg so badly, I think in a couple of places, that they doubted if she would ever skate again. She is as great as she ever was. Laszlo, hard blocks on Weston. There's blocking held back there. Sherry Eric, she gives Weston a whip for extra momentum, and she blasts Laszlo right off the track. Now it's Tucker and Weston. And Eric with a block on Tucker, down hard over the rail on her head, it looked like, or the shoulders. She's getting up fine. She's not hurt. Another bombers all over the place. 4 big points for Joni Weston.
Margie Laszlo, after Sherry Eric down here, I don't know what happened there either.
I tell you, this Sherry Eric, Jerry, I haven't seen the Pioneer Club live for some time. And she amazes me. This gal has come a long ways.
Beautiful girl, too. I mean, you take a look at
the skating, Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Walt. Yes, you're right. She is one of the many skaters come along. Rita Williams looks very, very good, too, if you haven't seen her since early this season. I remember when Sherry Eric came in, as you said, she's one of the prettiest girls to come into the league. And she looked at it. She looked like she wasn't going to be a skater. And now this gal is hard to handle out there. What do you mean, Walt? A talented gal on skates. Bill Morrissey, referee, was injured in the game here last week, recovering in Providence Hospital, a back injury. Referees really take punishment. You know, you kid about it. I don't envy their job at all.
No, there's nobody who works harder than Bill Morrissey, believe me. He's a 110% type of individual. Whatever it takes, he'll give you a little more. There's a lot of help behind the scenes. Whatever needed. Here we go. Candy Jones breaks away. Debbie Cho is flagged back into the back. She was not legally out there. So Candy Jones is moving for the Pioneers, who lead 39-35 off the last big play by Weston, Sherry Eric. Laszlo blocking with Candy Jones. Another block in there. Another block by Laszlo. Another one in there. Down she goes. Here comes Tucker. She has the lead. Candy Jones made a dive for Tucker and missed her and went down. She was not fast for a point. Weston battling now. Laszlo trying to move out. Weston won't let her move her out. Almost on top of a camera when Candy Jones. Weston is down. Tucker goes by for one. Paves the way for more if there's any time left. He has 2 more. It could be 3. 3 bomber points. Rainier out there immediately checking. But Candy Jones, who went down hard. 39-38 is the score. The Pioneers now lead.
Well, they're helping Candy up. I think she just had the wind knocked out of her. She'll be all right. Speaking of people who also have had problems, our old friend Chet Kopic, the voice of the Pioneers in the Midwest, has had throat problems. Has been in the hospital for about 3 weeks, Walt. Just getting out now. He's going to have to rest his voice up if he's going to report the Pioneers this fall. Sometimes, you know, he talks a lot sometimes, but he's a pretty good guy.
Don't teach him to call a doubleheader, Jerry. You have to do before doubleheaders. You take your voice out and you run it for 10 miles.
Right.
Here we go. Both clubs at full strength, which is almost surprising in this type of game. 39-38. Williams out there to jam, but she's whipping out Joni Weston, and Laszlo whipped out by Candy. He got Weston before Weston the ditch right. Now she's down again. She's hit in there by Tucker. See that happens the other jam. You get out, you get decked, when you get up, here comes the pack, and they deck you in. For a point this time. Laszlo's got blocking. No, she hasn't anymore. All of a sudden, it disappeared up there. Time ran out in the period before she could get up there for any more. She settles for one. That is the end of the 7th period of play with the score. The Bombers 29 and the Pioneers that make that 39 and the Bombers 39. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at Keys R Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. We got one coming right down to the wire in this game. It's 39-39. James Ball whipped out there by Charlie O'Connell. Whipped out there in pursuit of the bald eagle. Bob Hine, 57, moving here for the Pioneers. Each team of the jammer out on the play. Young James Ball, veteran Bob Hine. Ball of kids is coming along with a lot of fight, though. Bob Hine grabs the lead, and they're moving on the back. Ronnie Robinson back there to block. Down goes Hine, and away goes James Paul. 32. Never count this kid out. He's big and rangy and strong. Robinson back there to block. Robinson with a block on James Paul. No blocker back there to help Paul out yet. And Bob Hine is moving again on the jam. There's O'Connell. And here comes Bob Hine. Paul takes a shot at him, and Hine sidesteps him. Charlie O back there, number 40. Robinson trying to get a shot at Charlie O'Connell. Nick Scopus back there. James Paul coming up again to the Bombers. Watch Bob Hine, 57, their jammer. 2-1, and that's it. No score. Bob Hine spent too much time looking and not enough time trying to score that time. He is decked just as the jam ended. Maybe a split second afterwards, but no penalty called. It remains 39-39. Jerry, are we going to give a chance to give the people the dates on the Midwest about that series again?
Of course, that's the Pioneers, their own team representing the entire Midwest area against the Los Angeles Thunderbirds. Sunday, September 23rd, Milwaukee, Wisconsin Arena. Wednesday, September 26th, Gary, Indiana, Calumet High School. Thursday, September 27th at the Chicago Amphitheater. Also Saturday, September 29th, or rather Friday, September 28th at the Chicago Amphitheater. And Sunday, September 30th, concluding the series in St. Louis. Saturday, September 29th at the arena.
And it'll be tremendous action back there. Get out and see that series. Here we go. Larry Smith on the jam. And there's Tony Roman to challenge him. Tony Roman has the lead now. Clear the back. Robinson and O'Connell. And Tony Roman moving on the back. He's got Charlie O back there to block for him. Charlie O has already got Ronnie Robinson upset with his tackles back there. He isn't even going to worry about Roman. There went Roman, Ronnie. O'Connell had been working on Robinson, and he had Robinson so upset that he forgot all about the jammer. Boy, is he mad. But it was his temper that cost him. 40-39, the Bombers lead by 1.
We want to remind all the fans of the area and on this network to stay tuned immediately after the game to hear Joan Weston and her comments, I'm sure, about the Founders Cup. Also, for the fans of the Bay Area, you got nothing better to do after the game. You can get over to Willow Glen in San Jose, see the Willow Glen Giants compete for the Little League Championship down there, led by Walter Harris Jr.
Bunch of kids. Unfortunately, I can't be there for this one, except maybe for the end of it.
Well, they were all in San Jose last Monday. They had a great time, I understand.
They saw that game, the roller derby game, and they said they'd never seen anything like it in their life, Jerry. They were standing on their seats and screaming. And you will be, too, if you go see the next live game in your area. You'll see what it's all about. And here's what it's all about. Ronnie Robinson out there to challenge the two Bomber jammers, Mallory and Paul. And Robinson gets through there. Out to join him is Bob Hine. No, Bob Hine is whipped by Robinson, so it's going to be Bob Hine on the move this time. Mallory limping a little bit as he tries to regain his speed. The lone jammer is Bob Hine, moving for the Pioneers, who trail by 1 with 8 minutes to go in the game. Charlie O back there to block. O'Connell, number 40. All-time great. Bombers with a pull away, and O'Connell with a burst of speed went by. The rest of the pack belonged to the Pioneers. Robinson's breaking. O'Connell, there's the point. Robinson on Pete Boyd. Ronnie Robinson, fantastic skating out there for the Pioneers. Great point. Time runs out. Ronnie Robinson, showing you why they love him in the Midwest. 40 to the 40, the Pioneers lead. What a play, Jerry, by Ronnie Robinson.
You know, when Charlie O'Connell breaks out of that pack like that, there's virtually no chance in the world of catching that team, and the Pioneers did it. You have to give them credit. You know, if you'd like to get a free copy of the rules of this game, put your name, address, city, zip code, and the station on which you watch the game on a postcard or letter and mail it to Rules. And that's not just Bomber Rules, even if you're watching on the Pioneer Network. That's Rules, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California, 94604. You know, Walt, every week, a lot of new-time viewers watching for the first time, they don't understand how the game played. It's a very simple game. The basic object, you break out of the pack, circle, come up from the rear for each member of the opposing team you pass, you get a point.
It's like somebody running a 10-mile race. They get out and they catch up with somebody, pass them up, they're lapping them. That's what these skaters are trying to do. Only the jammer's allowed to do it, and the pivot skaters. Pivot skater cannot go out until the jammer starts at 60 seconds ticking off. In 60 seconds, the jam ends. Right now, Dan Seltzer coming up. He was there once. Now, whenever he passes the Pioneer, he'll get a point. But Ronnie Robinson is going to make sure he doesn't pass anybody. Pete Boyd doing the blocking for the Bombers on John Rice, way behind the pack. He's going to be warned to move up. He decks it before he gets the warning. Now Pete Boyd moving up to give his teammate Dan Seltzer help. There's Robinson. There's Pete Boyd moving up. He's got him under control. There's the point. Dansell trying for more. Larry Smith blocking on Dansell now. Here comes John Rice again. Pete Boyd grabs him. He's going to slam him into the rail, I think, but Rice's helmet came off, and that saved Rice from being racked up that time. Might have saved Pete Boyd a penalty, too. Score 42 to 41. The Pioneers lead by 1. 5:28 to go in the game.
Well, this has certainly been a fitting start for this great series. It's going to go on here for 3 weeks in the Bay Area. And no matter where you're watching, you're going to be able to see it. And speaking, no matter where you're watching, this is the week for the fans in Northern California. Channel 2 increases its power. No matter where you're watching, you're going to see it clear and direct. Whether it's Sacramento or Stockton or anywhere, you should have Channel 2 as your new station. Remember, Roller Derby Live, 4:30 to 6 on Sunday afternoon, Saturdays at noon.
Here we go. Nick Scopus is out, and Charlie O. I don't think Nick knows it. I don't think Nick knows it. Now he knows it. Scopus usually refuses to challenge Charlie O. I don't think he knew he was out that time. What's he going to do now? He's got a block. Boy, he's going for his life now. Charlie O's moving up. He wants somebody else back there to block. Robinson's on the infield. Double blocks it up there by Bob Hine and Larry Smith. Scopus got out. Scopus is looking for a shot back there. 3 men working on Charlie O. Charlie O starts hammering in there. Here comes Pete Boyd. And all 4 go down. O'Connell's getting up. He's by 2-3. Charlie O is running short. He goes by a 4. San Francisco. Everybody running.
You know, that's something. Charlie O'Connell probably doesn't score 100 points a season. He's one of the lower scorers in the league. But he tries to pace himself during the game that when they need him, they can utilize him.
Take a breather now. 46 to 42, the Bombers lead. 3:25 to go in the game. And what a game it's been.
Don't give up on this Pioneer team. I'll tell you something, Walt. They just don't quit.
They got too much talent to give up on, Jerry. Here Floyd wearing the black vivid helmet for the Bombers. Roman trying to get out. He does, but in front of him is Larry Smith. Uh-oh, Roman down. Larry Smith cut him off at the pass. Now the lone jammer is a Pioneer, Larry Smith. Roman staying back there like he wants to block. Let's see if Beat Boy drops back. Lone jammer is a Pioneer. They get another man out, John Rice. He's half a lap back. Joni Weston shouts some advice to Larry Smith. Mulligan said there's another man coming to help him. Roman back to the block. Robinson back to the block. There's a lot of power back there now for the Pioneers. Here comes Robinson moving up the block. He doesn't have to worry about a bomber. Robinson hits Roman. And they got team locking and they got a bundle. They got a bundle. 6 points. 6 points for the Pioneers. A big play, 48-46. Charlie O comes right back on the track. They're behind again. 2 minutes to go in the game. Bombers will jam with, let's see, Mallory and Paul this time.
I don't know if you saw Tony Roman come through there. There's some question as to whether or not he picked up points or not. The official said he did not.
Well, he was not on the jam. He was a blocker. I think he was trying to fool the referee.
I see. That's why he didn't get any points, Walt.
It's a smart move if you can get away with it. Mallory is out of there if Robinson doesn't cut him off. Robinson does cut him off. Bombers trail by 2. This could be the last jam of the game. It's going to be Bob Hine. The jam is underway. Bob Hine, James Paul in pursuit along with Alvin Mallory. Bob Hine can cut him off here and kill the Bomber threat. He's going to, and he does. That'll use up some of the time as the Pioneers are waging a defensive battle right now. They lead 48-46, a minute 10 to go in the game. That jam lasted approximately 12 seconds. Remember, if a jam gets underway with any game time remaining, it goes a full 60 seconds. That's the rule at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. In other words, if there's 5 seconds left on the clock in game time, and the jammer gets out of that pack, start the 60-second clock ticking off, then the jam can go the full 60. That's important right now to the Bombers. 45 seconds left in the game. The Pioneers get the first jammer out. The Bombers are finished here. Coming fast, Smith. O'Connell cuts him off. Roman gets out of there, but he's too much speed and went on the rail. Now he's out. So this jam goes to full 60. Roman is out. People starting to stand here at Keysar. Watching the action. Larry Smith trying to pick up speed. Dynamite Tony is on the loose, though. Robinson back to the box. Scope is staying behind O'Connell, so he cannot get back there to give Roman any help. Here comes Larry Smith in the jam. He gets the leading. Oh, he's hit by Roman onto the rail. O'Connell back there now where he can block with Smith. Roman is down. The jam is over. I don't know if anybody interfered or not. This jam is over. Smith just has to cut it off. He does. He weighs Roman up and the jam is over. Gary, did you notice anybody interfere there?
I believe Bob Hine in the infield interfered with Tony Roman, and this game is going to be protested. There's no doubt about that.
O'Connell is yelling at one of the referees. Roman is yelling. Bob Hine was standing down here with Joni Weston. And when Roman went down for no apparent reason, he looked away, and the next second he was down. Figured it had to be some kind of interference. But whatever it was, you can protest it, but the officials didn't see it. There's nothing to do about it.
I'm sure that where fans will watch the next telecast, if there is a protest, they would have to give 2 points on that last play, ruling it a tie. We'll know about that later.
Okay, that's the end of the game with the score here. The Bay Area Bombers 46 and the Pioneers 48. With me, the golden girl of the Pioneers, Joni Weston. There's nobody better, believe me, and you fans know that too. Joni, you're going back for a summer series. You're going to meet the Thunderbirds. Now, the last time you skated a team from the International Skating Derby, you drew over 51,000 fans. You're not going to have that big an arena. You have 3 games in Chicago and other games in the vicinity. But what about facing a team like the Thunderbirds?
Well, the Thunderbirds, like as it stands right now, we don't even know who's coming. We don't know who's on their lineup for sure. They're an unknown. I'm sure that there will be repeaters, you know, from the last game. So I guess we just have to play it by ear, really.
They have a reputation, though, of being a highly unpredictable team because they're so wild on the track.
Well, they're unpredictable, and they also, when they skate at home in Los Angeles, they have an awful lot of talent that sometimes does not travel with them, but yet sometimes does. And when you go out figuring on a team and you know the lineup, and then all of a sudden Julie Patrick walks in the building, or say Tony Tagg comes out, or even Shirley Hardman puts her skates on, you haven't planned on that. You know, you didn't know this was going to happen.
Well, I understand from this series and fellas I was talking to in L.A. is that they are not only bringing their talent, they're trying to load their club because they've looked over your roster, and anybody who looks over your roster has to be afraid when they go out to the bank track. So they're trying to really build their club up for this series.
Well, that's very interesting to hear. I'm glad you heard that little tidbit. I mean, just getting back from Flat River, Missouri, I don't know those things myself. But that's interesting. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, you can't blame them because when you look at your roster, Joan, you got a team that's loaded with talent.
Well, we think we do. We think we are very talented, very equal. In the girls' field, I feel we can take on any team in the league. In the boys' field, I don't think there's a boys' team really that can touch our boys.
So they get, they could send out half a dozen men in a jam, and you can say, hey, there's the best jammer in the league, and there's the best jammer, and then another one, right?
Right. You stand there and you watch Ronnie go on a jam, and then say Ronnie sits down, and here comes Bob Hine. Of course, Nick is out there jamming, altered, Johnny Rice. You know, what more do you want? Like you said before, it's a coach's dream.
Of course, the Thunderbirds coming in for this tremendous series, if they can beat you, that would really help their reputation. So they're going to shoot the works, Joan.
Well, I don't care to get into any arguments about the Thunderbird reputation. I know there's a lot of people in Chicago that watch the Thunderbirds. They like them. A lot of people will watch us and like us. But what we're going to go out, we're going to skate our game. We're going to skate as hard as we can, and we're going to try to win, just for the people that really like, you know, the Pioneers. And I'm sure that's what they're going to do, too. So it's going to be good, hard skating.
You've developed a winning habit, and you want to keep it that way.
You get kind of spoiled when you win. You like it. It gets to be a narcotic. You like that idea of walking away with the trophies.
Well, you've got the team to do it, Joan. I want to wish you a lot of luck in that series against the Thunderbirds.
Thank you very, very much.
Joni Weston, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the Midwest, don't forget, get out and see them against the Thunderbirds in that great series they got coming up because, boy, there'll be fireworks all over that bank track. Well, this has been a great first half here between the Pioneers and the Bombers. This is Walt Harris speaking from Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer. Jerry, looking at this Pioneer Club, I really offhand can't name any team in the league that has the personnel that they've got. They are loaded, and they have to be because they got a tough series coming up back in the Midwest.
I think the fans watching now, they're down by 7 points at halftime. But with that lineup, you never worry about that. Their strategy is start slow, but against the Thunderbirds, they're going to be playing the Los Angeles Thunderbirds the end of September in Milwaukee and Chicago and St. Louis, also in Gary. They're going to have a good, strong lineup for that, and they've got it.
Jerry, now, is an expert on tickets. Last year, the Pioneers went into the White Sox Stadium and drew over 51,000 fans, but now they're taking on a series that, to me, is even bigger than that one, yet they're at the amphitheater. What will that do to the ticket demand?
Well, of course, there was one reason. Both teams last year, although they were happy with the turnout out there, there was a lot of rain that week. The game almost could have been rained out. They didn't want to face this possibility. Now you're facing 3 games at the amphitheater. There's 10,000 seats at the amphitheater. That's only 30,000 seats, so all we can say is we hope the fans buy their tickets right now because otherwise they will be disappointed.
Doesn't that mean something to a team that people have jammed to an indoor arena when they're screaming and yelling? It spurs the team on more than the outdoors. The crowd seems, the noise goes up.
Right, that's one thing, too. It's one thing I noticed at the ballpark out by the track. It almost seemed like delayed reaction. It was so far back until they could hear the fans, although all the fans could see fairly well. But no doubt in the amphitheater, it's one of the big, small buildings. It's an old building, but it's 10,000 seats. They're all right up close, and they can see there, as well as, of course, St. Louis. They're going to the arena, the home of the Blues. That's 20,000 seats. And in Milwaukee at the arena up there, also 10,000 seats. So they should see one of these games. It's a great experience.
It certainly should be a tough series, too, because this Thunderbird team has quite a reputation.
They do, and there's been a lot of talk. You know, this may be the last time these leagues get together because bickering back and forth. So that's another thing, too. This may be the last chance to see that.
Well, that should be a great series all the way, and I'm glad you mentioned about tickets and the fact that the amphitheater is so intimate that the people actually will be a part of the game when you're there.
Well, yeah, I know, well, at the end of the second half, you're going to talk to Joan Weston. You should ask her about the rosters and stuff, because I think she can probably tell you some of that, too.
Good, because nobody knows the skaters more than Joni.
Right, and, you know, sometimes you wonder if people listen to these things at the end of the first half and the second half. Maybe at the end of the second half, you ought to mention that game, that's the end of the first half. Just see if people are listening to you.
I could try that, Jerry.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Walt.
Jerry Seltzer, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the tremendous series coming up in the Midwest featuring the Pioneers and the Thunderbirds. The amphitheater's got 3 big games there and only 10,000 seats, but if you go to the amphitheater, I know most of you fans have been there in Chicago, you know it's a great place to watch a game because you're really a part of the game. You're right on top of the action.